Hello, Aubrey Arms here to awaken your greatness. I'm here today to talk about Crunchy Conversations, which is all about addressing conflict head on so that you can have more productivity, peace, and possibility. You might be asking, what is a crunchy conversation? It's those conversations that, well, frankly, you'd rather avoid having altogether. They're awkward, they're uncomfortable, maybe you don't know what to say, and you're just it's conflict, right? So you're avoiding it. You come up with all kinds of good reasons and excuses of why to not have them. When you do have them, most likely they're rushed, they're superficial, and they leave not only you, but the other person feeling bad and energetically drained. So while we don't like having them, there is a significant cost of not embracing the crunchy conversation. If you're experiencing things at work like missed deadlines, productivity drain, projects dragging on, or maybe only inching forward, incredible amounts of frustration because you're having the same frustrating experiences over and over. All of those are signals and symptoms that you have not yet mastered the crunchy conversation. So today I'm here to give you a high-level overview of how you can effectively handle conflict in a heart-centered way that produces results. So the days of choosing to be nice or get results are over. Okay, so that's right, you heard me, a way to handle conflict from a heart-centered place. We need more of this in our business worlds. So there are three phases to the crunchy conversation. Phase one is before the conversation. So phase one has 3 steps to it. Step one is prepare. What kind of conversation are you about to embark on? I have a Crunchy Conversations toolkit that is free and accessible to you. You can get your copy by texting Crunchy to 44222. In this Crunchy Conversation Toolkit, I outline the top 11 most common situations that you're going to encounter into the workplace and what kinds of different crunchy conversations that you may be having. Is it a productivity issue? Is it a behavioral issue? Is it a toxic workplace issue that needs to be addressed? So I outline all the various kinds of types of crunchy conversations that you may encounter there. So step one is to prepare. What kind of conversation are you having? Step two is to set your intention. What is your desired outcome for the conversation? So many times we go into these conversations and we think they're going to suck. And guess what? They usually kind of suck. So step two is setting your intention. It is a powerful methodology is to use your intention. And then step three here is possibility. What's the best case scenario that could come out of you having this conversation? And step into the possibility of best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. That brings us to phase two, which is during the conversation. So during the conversation, really it has 3 components. And if you stick to these 3 components, they will serve you well. The first component is connection. So connecting to yourself, to your heart, and to the other person. The second element here is authenticity and transparency. And so be really clear, be transparent. Again, from this heart-centered, compassionate place, be really clear about what's the impact of their behavior, of whatever's happening. What's the impact? How does it impact you? How does it impact your team? How is it impacting the business? And the third step here is curiosity. Is really to engage in this conversation with curiosity. What's going on for the other person? What's their experience? What are their obstacles? What's really stopping them from showing up in the full greatness of who you know them to be? And so if you can lean in from this place of curiosity, this is where the gems are. This is where you're going to discover really the root of the problem and be able to overcome that obstacle and step right over it and move forward in your business. So that's during the conversation. Again, connection, authenticity, and curiosity. Those are your guiding lights during the conversation. And that brings us to phase 3, which is after the conversation. So just because your conversation is over doesn't mean that your work is over. And there's 2 steps of after the conversation of phase 3. Step 1 is to reflect. There's a quote here I want to read to you. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. And that was said by Margaret Wheatley. And so without that reflection, we're just going to keep the Groundhog Day of insanity happening over and over and over and over again. So reflect. What went well in your crunchy conversation? What didn't go well? What did you learn? What will you do differently next time? What will the other person be doing differently as a result of the conversation? It's really critical. And this is a piece that gets missed, is the after. It's really critical to have these reflection time and moments so that we can have positive impact and have real results happen. And that brings me to my very last phase here of phase 3 is celebrate. You have to celebrate every single small step along the way. That's how you get to the big wins. Don't wait just for the big win to celebrate. Celebrate all the little steps along the way. So if it went terribly, and it went terribly, you can still celebrate that you did it, that you confronted that conflict, that you did it in the best way that you could do it. And hopefully you have more to celebrate than that. But at a minimum, you can celebrate that you had the courage and the leadership to really address this conflict head on. So again, I have a Crunchy Conversation Toolkit. It's a completely free resource designed to help you as a leader be able to address these places of conflict in a very compassionate, heart-centered way that gets results. Because at the end of the day, it's results that matter. So I hope this has been useful. If you're interested in getting your copy of the Crunchy Conversation Toolkit, again, you can text Crunchy to 44222. Again, I'm Aubrey Arms, here to awaken your greatness so you can have the level of impact and influence to create a more enjoyable world where we all thrive. Thanks, and have a great day.